You ready?
All right, Doc, it's on.
Okay. Hello, YouTube and podcast world. Good evening. Welcome to Chats with Baba. This is brought to you by Lighthouse for Academic and Cultural Excellence. The purpose of this podcast is to inform Black parents about the genius of their children, and is to empower them and to educate them in terms of how do we unlock that genius. So the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to lay the foundation as we move forward with these presentations on YouTube, and I'm talking about the Black family particularly. The information is applicable to any group of children, but my purpose is to focus on children whose genius has been stifled. We want to unlock it. We want to move from miseducation to education and strive for excellence. That is our overall goal, striving for excellence. I have on the screen, you're going to see in a series of slides, the caption of the Black family. I have to stop and just get a handle on that, because this next statement, we know about Du Bois, W.E.B. Du Bois, as being one of the great scholars of the last century. Great scholars. Du Bois wrote extensively about children, but we don't hear much about that. One of the persons close to him at the time was by the name of Irene Diggs. She, in her own right, was a scholar, and she did a lot of the scut work and research for Dr. W.D. Du Bois. Now, this is what he said over 100 years ago, 1920. Quote, "There's no place for Black children in this world." Think about that. And this is what he's believed. Thousands of boys and girls are missing the chance of developing unusual talents because the chances have been against them. The majority of children of the world are not being systematically fitted for their life work, and life itself. And the big question is why? Well, Carter G. Woodson answered that in why there is a continued effort to miseducate us, My goal here, as someone who's been in the field of education, particularly in early childhood, is as a professor, is to share with parents the kinds of things that they need to know to lay the foundation to unlock the genius in children. Now, having said that, within recent weeks, there's been a lot of information about AI, artificial intelligence, and that train is moving fast. And so children of today will be living in a world where artificial intelligence is going to be key. It's going to be a major player in their life. Now, having said that, it's important that we help our children to develop critical thinking skills. And one of the things that I'm going to focus on as we move through this slide presentation this evening, the importance of the Black family, because the foundation for development and learning is really established within the home. What's the benefit of all of this? Children need to understand who they are. They need to understand their ancestry. They need to understand the contributions that their ancestry has made to this world, okay, to this world. Ivan Van Sertima, that name may not be familiar to you, but is a genius in his own right. In his writing, in his scholarly writing and research, he talks about the amount of information that has been unearthed, discovered, excavated about Africa and all of its contributions. And that information pertains to agriculture, science, architecture, aeronautics, engineering, mathematics, metallurgy, medicine, navigation, and physics. What else is there? If you have just a sense of that and how Africa and Africans have contributed to all of the sciences, mathematics, physics in the world, and that is instilled in our children. They have a sense of being connected through ancestry of where we come from and how we have evolved. So I want to lay that out as we move through these slides and continue presenting to you information that I think in my 50 plus years as an educator, as a parent, as a grandfather, on those things as they pertain to the Black family. The unfolding of the Black family comes from three sources. Some of the work that I've written in my book, From Roots to Wings, Successful Parenting, African American Style, the work of the late renowned scholar Asa Hilliard, who emphasized the importance of the Black family and its origin, and the work of Wade Nobles, who was a close friend of Asa as well. So we will take a few minutes and just kind of go through these slides. Now, what I'm sharing with you, this information, as a professor at Clark Atlanta University, I would ask my students, what was it in their life that brought them to Clark Atlanta University? What was it that their parents instilled in them? And so some of what I'm sharing with you in the next few slides comes directly from information that I've collected from my students over the years. And this is what they've said. My family values originated in the Black church or the mosque. One of the early books that they were exposed to was the Bible or the Quran. These documents or books serve as the daily foundation for their guidance, prayer, and promoted positive ways to life. The old folks would tell you, if they didn't know about any other book, they certainly knew about the Bible. And the Bible laid for them the foundation that enabled them to deal with the day-to-day things that impacted their life. Next slide, please. Now, the Black family. And here are just some points. The family unit provided happiness and security. That's what children get from that family. Happiness and security. The family is linked to intergenerational relations. For example, when you talk about grandparents, parents, that's 3 generations. And we're many of us, that's the extent. In some cases, you can get back to the great grandparents. My neighbor just visited her daughter, who I've watched grow up, and they're living in California. And she got back, and I call her Gigi, because she now has a great grandchild. So that's 4 generations there. So the intergenerational relations is critical in terms of the stability of the family. The family provides unconditional love. You don't have to have any particular reasons to not love your children. It's unconditional. The family teaches compassion and patience. Okay. The family links the past, ancestors, the present, and the future, the unborn. The family is where children learn. The family is the center of love, harmony, and peace. If children can come out of a family situation with these understandings and characteristics, they are well on their way to having a good understanding of who they are and how they connect with their ancestral connections and past generations. Next slide, please. All right, in his writing, Wade Noble says that you can't be around the African family and not have some sense of a spiritual connection of how all of these things go on. Well, if you look at the again the work of the late Asa Hilliard, myself, Wade, and others, you will see some of the things are repeated. Again, unconditional love, reciprocity, how we relate to each other, mother, father, son, daughter, cousins, uncles, grandparents. That's what he's talking about. Restraint. How do we control ourselves so that we're not, just at each other and so forth and so on. Responsibility. How do we fulfill our roles as parents? Are the roles clearly defined? There are situations where the mother, father roles cross over. Adaptability. How do we fill other roles and responsibilities? Inclusivity. How do we make sure that all family members are part of the family? One of the things I think is important is that children understand the business of the family and what each person's function is in the family and how they can contribute to being a part of the family, even if what they do is small, but they are part of the family. And the last point here is, how do we make sure that each member is trusted and respected? That comes with all of the above points, and as these things are unfolding, we learn to love and respect and trust each other. Next slide. Now, having said that, one of the things that in the family situation, we want to help children to develop an appreciation and respect for learning, for love and development. So the natural genius that's in our children can only come about and be developed if in fact they have they are attended to. And in that process, what you want is children to come away is critical thinking skills. Sometimes I don't make light of, as parents, wanting their children to know their colors, letters, numbers, and all that. But understand, excuse me, but understand that children in their development, there's a natural curiosity of wanting to know and to explore. And children do this by and large through play. And as they are tinkering and exploring, they're taking in information. They're analyzing what it is they're tinkering with, and they are making judgments about it. How does this work? Why does it work? And who is it for? And their imagination is just growing and developing. And as children take in new information, they are sorting it. And we may not see this sorting, but it's also being sorted in their minds. So when they have a need for it, they're able to call it up and to make decisions about what it is that they're tinkering with. And so this is part of the critical thinking process of learning. Now, what we don't want is to, whatever our own shortcomings are as it relates to math and science, technology, we don't want to put those fears on our children. A lot of many of the reasons our children don't do well in some of these areas is because they don't have a love for it. They've taken on, I can't learn that. That is not true. There isn't anything that we can't learn. Go back to the list that I laid out from Ivan Van Sertima. All of what has come from the continent, whether it's medicine, math, it doesn't matter. It's important that during the early years, that foundation for thinking is developed. What we do know, and what science tells us, the field of science and the field of pediatrics tells us, that from birth to age 5, The children's brain develops more during that period of time than any other time in their life. Think about that. From 0 to 5, from the time that they're born till they come here, the brain develops more rapidly than any other time in their life. You say, well, they're just children, and they got the preschool years, they got the other years, and their brain is developing. The foundation for those other years happens during the 0 to 5 years of growth and development. And how the brain develops has a lasting impact on the children's ability to learn and succeed, not only in school, but in life. So those first 5 years are very critical. Does that mean that it stops? No, but what the science tells us that during the first 5 years, approximately 85% of the brain is developed, and in that and during that period of time, their attitude, their values, their likes, dislikes, their behavior, the foundation has been laid out. And it's critical that you, as their first and foremost teacher, play a very, very important role in that. You help your children to determine whether or not they will have an appreciation to love learning. So again, the Black family is critical to our children's foundation and appreciation for learning and critical thinking. So that's a lot to unpack in just a few minutes. But you can go back and look at those points and ask yourself, where am I in relation to this? Are there adjustments that I need to make? The relationship that you have with your children is established early in life, and so forth and so on. The appreciation that they have for math, for science, for love, for learning, happens during those critical years. So with that, I'm saying to you, look at the points on the Black family. Look at the points that Dr. Hilliard, Dr. Wade Nobles, and myself, what we're sharing with you as critical, as you play the most important role as the children's first and foremost teacher. Go to my website, drjamesyoung.com, and you'll see many of the books that I draw from are on that particular site. And that concludes our chat with Baba for this evening. And we will move forward in subsequent weeks. Thank you. Are you there, Diamond?